Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back, and we are on the ultimatum, marry or move on, season 2, and we're going to be talking about episode 7. I am catching up with everything, and before I do get into it, as I always say, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button so you will know when I am on and doing videos. And come on in, let's interact. Anyway, getting into the episode, we see that all the couples have now gone back and they're all living together with the couples that they originally came in with, and it's getting not so far away to the actual ultimatum day in terms of if they're asking you to marry them, it's either you marry them, as the title says, or you move on. Well, we shall see. So we get Roxanne and Antonio, and they're having their conversations. And basically she is saying that she's afraid that she won't get over the marriage thing. Now my thing is as I've already said through this episode, is that Antonio is very dependent at the moment on Roxanne in terms of living circumstances. So I think it's Roxanne that is literally bringing in all the finances between the both of them. Yes, he's trying to get to a level pegging with Roxanne in terms of wanting to be an entrepreneur and open up his own business, because he wants to start being a provider. But my thoughts are thinking, has he peaked and asked her to marry him too early? Because I honestly believe that this woman is afraid of marriage, like literally afraid of marriage, and thinking she's giving away some part of herself that she doesn't really want to give away. She doesn't have that control anymore. But that's how I'm thinking of it. But you let me know how you think. And then it flips to Kat and Alex. Now with Kat and Alex, it's kind of like she was sitting there and she was just like begging him to be more open. She was asking for more, and Alex is thinking that he has improved. And I from the bits that I've seen of Alex, I'm just like, where, like seriously, well and truly, where have you improved, my boy? Because I have not seen nothing but you create storms in a teacup at the end of the day, where other people literally have to put out the fires that you have started. So someone please tell me where Alex has made these giant steps to fruition. Basically Alex was saying to her that he feels like he has to be tough on her as she's quiet and timid, so needs someone to take the reins. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, really, who the fuck are you? Kat has her own voice and she voices it in her own way. I'll be honest and say yes, especially how I saw her interact with Roxanne, when Roxanne was quite strong and strong-willed and saying what she wants to say. I didn't see Kat make any strides in regards to actually being not so agreeable for people and literally being steadfast in how she thinks and feels, because she does have her own opinions about things. And it kind of moves to Ryan and James, and they're having their conversations, and James really does not like when Ryan speaks about her and Trey's relationship, because he's absolutely, as he says, envious of their relationship. And I'm like, if you really wanted to figure out what another relationship or marriage may have felt like, then you should have put your all into Raya at the end of the day, the way that Ryan was able to open up with Trey and vice versa, because they were not getting what they needed from their partner at that current time, so they were managing to get it from each other. So Ryan being able to speak about her experiences and look at what she wants different in the future, especially if it's with James, isn't the wrong thing to do, and he should not shut her down because of that at the end of the day. My thing is, it's when Ryan's talking and saying that she needs James to make her more of a priority, and my man turns around and says, well, what things do I need to do to show you that I'm making you a priority, or I'm thinking of you, or I'm doing X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, she shouldn't have to tell you. Like, she really shouldn't have to tell you these things. At the end of the day, if you two have been together for 7 years and you can't read your partner in 7 years, then what are you both doing? Like, what are you doing at the end of the day? You're telling me, as I said, in those 7 years, you've not been able to read Ryan in terms of what it is that she'd like you to do for her. And I'm sure she's probably vocalized and mentions what it is that she'd like you to do for her, to show her that actually you do want her, you do want to create this life and family with her at the end of the day, that you're speaking of, that you're saying. Because you can say all the pretty words, all the flowery words that you want to, but at the end of the day, if your actions are not backing it up, then what you're saying to me is just words. What you're saying to the person that you're with is just absolute words. You see Raya and Trey having their discussions, and Raya's still very much hurt in the fact that Trey was able to catch feelings for someone else within this experiment. And basically she's trying to create this space between them, because she said she needs time in able to process the situation and then deal with it as she needs to. But Brian just wants closeness with her, and Brian you got Brian on the bloody brain. Trey just wants closeness with her and to be able to talk and sort things out with her, whereas before, when they said they got to certain situations, they weren't able to sit and have those conversations with each other without one of them walking off or not dealing with it as it comes along. So basically Raya's wanting to try and figure out how she can get past the thought of Trey actually saying that he caught feelings with someone else, as I said, and basically saying to him that he's already lost her. And I'm thinking, no, he hasn't, because if he had lost Raya, like really lost Raya, at the end of the day, she would not be fussed in the fact that he caught feelings with someone else. She would have shut down completely. She wouldn't have been trying to speak to him. She wouldn't have been trying to work things out with him in the slightest. If he had lost her, she would have cut all communication dead. That relationship would have been dead in the water. Raya then begins to open up and speaks to the fact that she does want to get married, but Trey has never asked her exactly what marriage looks like to her, because it's just been a case of Trey has speed long ahead, jumped into it gung-ho and saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, and not giving a chance for Raya to actually have a voice within the plans and say, well, what is it do you want to have happen? What does marriage look like to you? And as Trey said, that, you know, he was shocked by her saying that she does want to get married, and that they were happy that they're having those conversations. Now, my thing is I know relationships can be hard, right? I know relationships can be hard, especially when you're wanting to look into the future in terms of marriage, in terms of children, in terms of getting a house together and X, Y, and Z. But when does it become a given then that you have those conversations with your partner? That you're able to sit down and be very open with your partner without fear of any backlash or anything like that? Or if you are the person that's bringing in the finances, that you're able to at least check in with your partner to see if things are okay, that they're okay, and have those conversations with them. Because what this show has shown me, especially with other shows as well, is these people have never really literally sat down and had these conversations with each other. Like really not sat down and had these conversations with you, and it's taken them to come on this show to be open in terms of what it is they want and what they don't want. The only sticking point that I would say is going to come out of Trey and Raya is the fact that Raya still wants to live in the city. Basically, she wanted to live in the city for a year and then move back into the country with Trey. Now, Trey is dead set against it. Trey is dead set against it because he really does not want to live in the city at all. Basically, he doesn't want to go off a whim. He doesn't want to go without a plan, because you can go and do these things and say, oh, we'll be here for X, Y, and Z, and then end up staying there for longer than you've actually said, and nothing's actually really changed in that regard. And I know Raya's saying that she wants to live in the city because she's never had that in her life. She's never experienced living in the city and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, just go then. Like, you know what I mean? Because even when Trey said that he will keep things going at home, and even to the point where he said that he will fund her to go to the city, go live in the city, go live your year out in the city, and then come back to him at the end of the day. Me, myself, I don't see an issue with that. I don't see an issue with that, because if I was one where I really went and truly was dead set against living in the city, I don't want to do city life or anything like that, nothing is gonna drag me there and keep me there. Yes, I love my partner and everything like that, but nothing will drag me there to keep me there at the end of the day. But in order to keep the person that I'm with happy, I will say, look, if I've got the funds and the finances to do it, I will fund you to go live in the city for a year, get your experience, get whatever it is that you need to get out of your system, and then like find your way back in that sense. Because me myself, I am not gonna uproot everything that I've kind of built for both of us to then go and live in a city where I know I'm gonna be freaking unhappy, like completely unhappy. And I don't think that's a selfish thought at the end of the day, because you can't make everybody happy, because each time that person's putting into make you happy, make you happy, make you happy, what are they getting back for themselves? How are they making themselves happy as well within that relationship? And that's the thought that I was coming from, in terms of the fact that, yeah, no, I'm on the same page of with Trey on that one. I wouldn't really want to live in the city with no set plan on terms of when we're coming back. What is it going to look like? How is it going to go? What do you want to do when you're in the city? Rather than, here's the funds, you go do what you need to do, get it out your system, live in the city for a year and come back. Yes, you don't want to do the long distance relationship, but this is what happens in relationships sometimes there is no compromise, because at the end of the day, people are thinking that Trey should compromise, but then I'm thinking, well, why should he compromise? And that was my thought. Kat and her friends have gone out and they're having a chat, and all I can say about Kat's friends is they're real ones. They are real ones, because at least the one friend, when Alex decided to join them, I don't know why he decided to join girls' night, but he did, and they were not letting him get away with nothing. Now, my thing is this man, he will ask people, ask him questions, like direct questions, but this man will stutter all over the place, like honestly stutter all over the place, and doesn't put down a firm plan of action or decision in terms of what he's going to do with Kat. Like, throughout all of this, all I've been thinking is, nah, Alex ain't going to ask Kat. Alex is not going to ask Kat, because Kat is hankering for this marriage so bad, but I don't think he's going to ask her. That's all I kept on thinking throughout the whole episode. And even the episodes before, I didn't think any of them was going to get married, to be fair. Any of them was going to say yes, to be fair. But we will get to that. We see conversation again happen between Antonio and Roxanne, where basically they're talking, and Antonio just turns around and says that to Roxanne, I love you, expecting like an I love you back. My girl don't say nothing. Like, don't say nothing, even to the point where she's saying, oh, was you expecting me to say it back? And she was basically saying that if she's not feeling at that point, she's not going to say it back. And I'm like, sometimes when this girl is talking, she can be a bit patronizing towards this man, like really patronizing towards this man. Because I'm like, how much are you gonna beat this man down to the point when he decides to walk away from you? Then you're gonna be feeling fucking fuck shit, because you're gonna want him back and realize what you've lost. So he was asking basically for her to be open and honest in terms of how she sees him. Now, as I always said, people need to be very careful when you're asking for someone to be open and honest with you in regards to how they feel about you. Because guaranteed, if they say shit you don't like to hear, you ain't gonna like it. You are not gonna like it. And it was a case in point with Antonio, because Roxanne basically told him that there's a different level of respect between them two at the end of the day. And to be fair, I think Roxanne sees herself up there and Antonio is down there, to be honest. Antonio is on the path to building the life that he wants, and especially to be able to provide for Roxanne, but he's not there yet. But I honestly believe that Roxanne does not have a lot of faith in Antonio, and probably does see him as what Alex says, as a loser at the end of the day, because she didn't say very nice things about him. But I also think the biggest thing is that she's so used to be the one being in control of their relationship, being the one to provide everything in their relationship, that she really cannot let go of the reins. Like, really cannot let go of the reins, and that's a detriment to their relationship. So basically, she was talking about how she never wanted to be married and have kids or anything like that. She says that she loves Antonio, but her mind is in a different place, and Antonio is not on that level field. And this is why I said, like, they can be a little bit toxic with each other, or I think that it's Roxanne that is more toxic to Antonio. The more I watch her with him, the more she kind of chips away at his confidence and his self-esteem. That's what I'm seeing. The more she chips away at the things that matter to him in that regard. And I don't think she's doing it from a malice place. That's how I'm seeing it. I don't think she's doing it from a place of malice, but she's very, very, very tunnel vision and blinkered, where she doesn't see what's going on along the sides of her and how she's impacting on and affecting other people. That's how I see Roxanne. And my thing is, when Roxanne has been open and honest with him, like, Antonio don't believe it. Like, he really doesn't believe it, or that says that, oh, she didn't mean it. And I'm like, well, why ask her then? If you are going to hear something completely different in your brain and then turn around and say, oh no, well, she didn't really mean that, she didn't really mean it, it's because of X, Y, and Z, she didn't really mean what she was saying, and I've got to show her she didn't mean. Why are you asking her if you ain't going to believe what she's telling you? This woman's telling you to your face, yeah, that there's a different level of respect that she's got for you because of the level that she's at right now, and you're not on her level. She's told you that to your face, and you're still saying no. And the doozy of the part of the episode is when we get to Ryan and James, and they're literally, an argument is ensuing of a night time, because James gets triggered by the fact that Ryan is like tapping her hand when she's talking to him, because she's getting quite frustrated with him. And I'm like, if Ryan doesn't know the situation that has been going on between the battle you're going through, she doesn't know your triggers because you haven't had that discussion with her. You haven't opened up to her in regards to what you needed to open up to her about, especially when it came to like how you grew up, how that's impacted you and affected you as a child into an adult. If she doesn't know that, then how in the hell is she going to know that she's triggering you in any way, shape or form? But then it's the fact that you blame her for then your reaction. You blame her for then your reaction, to the point where she's literally breaking down and saying, I don't know how much more I can do and how much more I can take. To the point where then she's in bed and then he comes back and he apologizes, and he does tell her a little bit in regards to the trigger point for him. And I'm just like, you need therapy, James. This man needs therapy, because there's only so much that Ryan can do for him, and she can't do anything more than what she is doing. But he needs absolute therapy, because he literally cannot keep trying when she's doing something and she doesn't know it's a trigger, and then you suck the energy out of the room. Like, you become an emotional vampire and you literally suck the energy from her in terms of her trying to understand and rectify any type of behavior that she's done. That, for me, that is called beginning to walk on eggshells around your partner, because you don't know when they're likely to fucking blow at the end of the day, and you don't know why. So if I was James, I would literally seek some therapy, in order to deal with whatever kind of emotional baggage, emotional shit that he's got going on. You see Raya and Trey have a meal with Raya's sister. I keep calling her Raya, it's Rhea. Is it Rhea or Raya? Either way, with her sister. I actually thought it was Trey's sister for a minute. Like, she looked more like Trey than she did Raya. But it kind of opened avenues, and they had a discussion, and they were able to discuss the certain things. And basically Raya did turn around and say that she loved Trey, and that was a first for Trey, because she didn't really kind of express a vision of love for him, so he didn't know really where she stood with him. Go back to James and Ryan, and they're outside having a picnic, and this is where James actually opens up about the issues in regards to his childhood, in regards to his dad passing away, and he's basically trying to live up to this memory of this great person, this great father that he felt he was falling short of, to the point where his mum wasn't really around and she was constantly working. So he didn't have that emotional stability with the person that gave him life, basically. He didn't have that. She completely shut down in regards to when his dad died. So she checked out on him emotionally, and he wasn't able to go to her when he was feeling rough, when he wanted someone to talk to. So throughout those times, even I think when he said him and Ryan met, he began to self-harm as a stage of release, and basically because he felt inadequate. And I just thought there is so much to unpack with James. So much to unpack with James. And even that small little bit, Ryan can't be like the full-on emotional baggage person that he wants her to be. He literally, as I said, he needs to go to therapy to work through all his experiences in order to be able to be emotionally available for Ryan when she needs it. But yeah, that's where the episode ends, and I'll be straight back with the other episode. So all I will say to you is please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button when I'm back on and doing videos, and I'll be back on your screen very soon. Peace out.